Everybody, welcome once more to Tony the Mole Adams YouTube channel. Thanks for supporting the last few videos. Our stats are looking good, so thank you. But most of you do not subscribe. Most of you just sort of seem to stumble across this every week and forget that you watched it last week. So why not do yourself a favour, as Molly Meldrum used to say, and make sure you like and subscribe. And here he is, the man himself, Tony the Mole Adams. I'm back at home in London, probably only for this week. I'll be in Ireland this time next week. Tony, before we go into your midweek scoops, you do have a story you've just posted at 9.com.au about Leo Thompson and the Bulldogs. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, that's right. And Leo Thompson, I think he was in Japan. I think he had a break there, which is a bit of a strange place for a young Knights prop to go. But good on him. And he came back yesterday or today and met with Cameron Ciraldo. He was going to meet with Gus Gould. Gus a bit crook and couldn't make it. But word is the face-to-face meeting between coach and player went very well. And there's a heaps of clubs after him. I was telling you off air, I reckon he's the most sought-after front rower in the open market. I know Parramatta's interested. I think the Dolphins are interested. Canberra's interested. But I reckon the way things are shaping up, Canterbury, with the money they've got to spend, are the new favourites to get Leo Thompson. And it's probably the one thing they've lacked in the last couple of years in their big build-up is a massive front rower who can do damage. And Leo Thompson can certainly do that.
And we'll be mentioning the Bulldogs again shortly. But before that, not only have you brought us the name of a young player we may not have heard before, but it's your lead item this week with very good reason. Loco Jr. Pacifica Tonga. That's his name. Tell us all about him.
Yeah, well, look, we all know Nelson Asofa-Solomona is a big guy. Well, this guy is 6 kilos heavier than him and a few centimetres taller than him. So Loco Jr. Pacifica Tonga. It's an interesting story. He's a Bulldogs junior. Somehow he's ended up at the Dragons and he's actually in their top 30, but you wouldn't know it. They've really snuck him under the radar. Understandable, as he's a 19-year-old front rower. They want to keep the pressure off him. But I'm hearing he's going to play first grade next year, and he is massive and the expectations are massive. So one to look out for. He played New South Wales under-19s this year. He played Australian schoolboys this year. He led the Dragons to their first SG ball title in over 30 years this year. So he's something very special. And remember that name if you can.
And Tony, back to the Dogs, and you had a chat to the aforementioned Phil Gould about the recruitment policy for next year and the year after that and the year after that, and how they're not sweating too much if they miss out on a big name.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they were chasing Ryan Papenhuyzen. They missed him. They were chasing Ben Hunt and missed him. So they've obviously got plenty of money. And this isn't for 2026. This was for 2025 in the case of Hunt. So they've obviously got money up their sleeve. But Gus is a smart operator, and he basically said, we're not going to spend money just for the sake of it. We'll keep our powder dry. Obviously, that's changed slightly now with Thompson such a priority. But it's a very good position the Dogs are in. They've got a really good young squad with a few experienced players mixed in. And I reckon they get Leo Thompson. They could win a comp in a few years. So remember where you heard it first.
Now, Tony, you sometimes don't mention the player involved in an item because you've got to protect your sources. You sometimes don't mention the club. Your next item, I don't think you mentioned either the club or the player. You said that the club's been clubs have been warned off a player by a club. Can you tell us a bit more?
Yeah, well, look, there's a young player. I will tell you he's an outside back, and I will tell you it's not from a Sydney club. So I've narrowed it down a bit for you. His smugness and his attitude in negotiations has not gone down well with a couple of clubs, and clubs talk to each other. And as you say, they've been warned off this guy. He's a terrific talent. but he might be in for a bit of a shock when he gets off contract at the end of next season. I don't think the offers will be flooding in for him. So I really don't want to name and shame him, because in the modern world, young people are very sensitive, and I'd be accused of all sorts of things. But it's just an interesting turn of events in the marketplace, shall we say.
And a shot across his bows, perhaps, if he's watching this. Liam Knight, you've got your final item there is about. I know at this time of year we always hear that blokes are training the house down, but Liam Knight, what can you tell us about him?
Yeah, well, poor Liam, he really needs to train the house down, because he was at the Dogs the last 2 seasons, but he had a terrible knee injury. He only played 7 first-grade games, so the Dogs have let him go, but he's been training really well on the knee, and he's lost 10 kilos, so he's obviously pretty serious about getting himself a club for next season. But at the moment, no interest. No solid interest, shall we say. Talks are going on with his management, both here and with a couple of Super League clubs. So he could be on the move. I'd say more than likely he'll be playing somewhere in the north of England this time next year. Well, next year.
Good scoop, Tony. And this time next year, yeah, he'd be playing, I guess, Yorkshire Men's League amateur. But yeah, anyway, Tony, it's been good to speak to you. I'll be probably in Ireland next time we speak. Thanks everyone for continuing to support the channel. Our subscriber numbers are going in the right direction, so thanks everyone for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll speak again next week.
Thanks, Steve.